I now call the regular city council meeting for the Attleville City Council to order. August 5th, 2025, 5:30 p.m. Kathy, give me roll call, please.
Here.
Councilwoman Broussard.
Here.
Councilman Broussard.
Here.
Councilman Blazer. Councilman Gordon.
Here.
Mayor Moore.
Having a quorum present, I'll ask everyone to stand for a prayer and a pledge. Oh, no, pardon. Pastor Williams. Oh, Pastor Williams. Where is he back there? So I'm welcome. Would you like to do the prayer?
Sure.
Okay.
Father, we thank you for blessing us. It's a privilege to be found together here. Thank you for the opportunity, Father, to speak, to listen, to learn. Thank you for the chance to be with each other. I pray, Father, that you will give us wisdom and understanding, patience and kindness. But most of all, Father, we ask that you will help us to stay humble, to allow for your will to be done. That's our prayer, not our will, but your will be done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And thank you. Evan Tuchet, would you lead us in the pledge?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, couple housekeeping rules. For presentations, I ask you to limit it to 7 minutes. We do have a very long agenda. Public comments for any agenda item, 3 minutes. The comments need to be directly related to what the agenda item is. We are live streaming our meetings as we're required to do so by law. And so that camera equipment is right here in its hands. Just be aware of that. Council, your mics are hot, meaning that way it allows for people in the lobby to also hear what's going on. If you would like to make a public comment, I ask that you come to the front right here and you state your name before you start, face the council, and give your public comment. That's it for housekeeping. I will move on to public comments. We'll take any public comments on any agenda item prior to opening the meeting. We'll also take public comments during the agenda items. Or any public comments before we start the agenda. Yes, Ms. Mitchell, please stand, come to the front, state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Marilyn Mitchell, and I'm coming here to ask the council. I see that the map, the NAACP map, is not on the agenda for discussion tonight. So I would like the council to make a motion to deviate from the agenda and put the NAACP map for discussion and vote. So both maps could be discussed tonight, not just one map. So that's my comment or the proportion that you have on item number 1.
Thank you for your comment, Ms. Mitchell. As you know, it is the mayor who sets the agenda, and we are going to allow the presentation of the map during the hearing process. But if one of the council would like to make a motion to put an additional map on the agenda, it would be up to my city attorney of whether or not that would be allowed. But in order to deviate from the agenda or to amend the agenda, it needs a unanimous vote. So
There's no reason to amend the agenda right now. When we get to that item, we could discuss it if one of the council feels the need to make a motion in regards to that map. We can address it at that time.
okay. State your name for the record. Okay. Okay. Any other public comments before we start? Okay. Hearing none. Personnel. Any items of personnel? There were none submitted. Chiefs, do y'all have anything? Okay. No items of personnel. Presentations. Item number 1, Mr. Cohen Wise to discuss his experience as the City Hall intern. Cohen, you have the floor.
Yeah. Oh, the front. It's been a while. I'm a big stack, but yeah, I had to increase the front. So, good evening, Mayor and Council. It's been a long time since I've had the privilege of being in your presence. So, a short while ago in May, as y'all know, my time here at City Hall ended. And throughout the year that I was here, I worked on projects from grant management to researching state law and cross-checking that with city ordinance, and I had a really good time. I also sat in on meetings where I was a valued listener and shared my gained knowledge with others about the code enforcement process, tax collections, and all of the other information that I ascertained from working here. So I could go on for days about the experiences that I had here under Mayor White and the team, but I'd like to highlight some of the most valuable knowledge that I was able to gain under such a fine administration in hopes that this internship and opportunity is both attractive to future students as well as feasible for the administration and the council. So when I began this internship, I really expected to learn about city government, but what I didn't expect was how much I would grow professionally and personally, and how deeply I would come to appreciate the heart of this community. So from day one, I saw what it meant to be a public servant, not just in title, but in action. I watched as department heads, council members, and of course the mayor work extremely long hours to solve problems that most residents never see. At council meetings, there are issues that residents love to come and talk about, but there's also a whole nother side of that that they don't see. The infrastructure concerns, budget constraints, public safety issues, and economic development. And while that's all being handled, you also have all the very public issues that are being handled. It's just really crazy. So, as I said, I was given the chance to learn from professionals who have dedicated their lives to public service. And most importantly, I was trusted to contribute ideas, help with planning, and assist in relaying communications to everyday citizens. Through this internship, I learned that public service isn't always glamorous. Public service is it's not for people,
Rarely.
it's not for people who want to live in mansions and drive limousines with a security detail. You know, that's Hollywood. Public service is really for people with a dream of serving others and an ambition to enhance their community in whatever way, shape, or form that they can contribute. So I was able to contribute my knowledge to help create the Mayor's Youth Council. My time setting up for multiple sounds on the square and even the mid-sized cities and all the different events that the city had during my time. Most importantly, my perseverance to get through case after case and blade of grass and blade of grass. And even my sheer athleticism to get outside quickly one time, stop an 18-wheeler. And my internship, it was really spread across all of the levels of municipal government. From Mr. Chris's team one time, I went out there with them, and then most of the time I stayed with the mayor, Miss Rainey, and Miss Lynn. And I can see how getting such an in-depth look at local government, it could really deter some people going into public service because of the workload, the red tape, the unhappy callers, the rude internet comments that might come. But this internship did the opposite for me. It ignited a fire in me and a calling to serve my community as both as a leader in some areas and a follower in others. And I know in my heart that there's a student at one of the schools in the parish. I don't know their name, I don't know their background, but I know that somewhere nearby there is a student who was given a bad hand. But despite the bad cards that they were dealt with in their lives, they want to grow, learn, and be a leader and a community contributor. So I hope that this internship continues to find and accept that student every few years or so that someone else can be surrounded by the support of this administration and community personally, professionally, and educationally. Mayor and Council, thank you so much for the opportunity that I was given to intern here and for the opportunity to speak here tonight on such a long agenda. So thank you for your passion for the youth of this community, and I hope my words don't fall on deaf ears. Now, as for me, I can assure you that with the fire that this internship has lit inside of me, this won't be the last time that you hear from me. And I don't know what my future holds, but I do know that Vermillion Parish and Abbeville is in it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. It's so good to see you again.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you for everything that you did outside, inside, to work with all of us and make things happen.
He has a very bright future, and maybe one day he'll take my seat. And Evan Tuchet, for those of you who don't know, took Cohen's place. His internship is a little shorter because he's about to go off to college, but he's been working here, mostly working in the digital media realm because, he's more creative. So, but we try to find their strengths, teach them a little, and play on their strengths and help them grow while they're here. So thank you, Cohen. I enjoyed the presentation. I enjoyed working with you. I miss you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, item number 2, Louisiana Municipal Association Community Achievement Award for Outstanding Community Improvement and Community Development 2024, presented to the City of Abbeville. I'm gonna cover this one, I'm gonna do it quickly. For those of you who don't know, we just got back, last week was the Louisiana Municipal Association, annual conference, and so it was in Lake Charles. And we had put in an application, each year they request people to put in applications for different, fields. So there's some for economic development, community development, technology. And so we submitted the downtown road improvements, for the Community Achievement Award in Community Development, and we actually won for our municipality. So, we have, that's so far all in the class. Everything feels good for the mind, so I like to pick on them about that. And so I have one of these plaques for each of the council members also. We will be putting it out on social media, but we wanted to let everybody know that we are very thankful to receive that award. And thank you to the council for supporting the work we did, and the community for supporting the work we did. And it's an honor to have it recognized by leaders across the state.
Can we just do a quick picture of y'all holding y'all plaque real fast? Y'all would stand with them and you'll take it out just
Right here, good behind the desk.
Yeah, that's fine.
Want to come this way?
Yeah, council scooch that way and then wait, who's the house is calling? Great, let's go quick. 1, 2. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Let the record reflect Councilwoman Broussard needs to leave for a moment. Yes. She will be back. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Approval of minutes, bills, and budget reports. Item number 1, approval of the minutes from the regular city council meeting held May 20th, 2025, June 3rd, 2025, June 17th, 2025, July 1, 2025, and July 15th, 2025, and the committee meeting held on July 15th, 2025.
I move second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Outstanding job that Kathy does for us with these minutes each and every week.
Send them to us so we can read them.
Yep, sometimes I catch things every once in a while. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 2, to ratify bills paid in the month of July 2025. Motion and second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, to approve the June 2025 budget tax report.
Move second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. New business. Item number 1, to open a public hearing for comments from the public on the following proposed ordinances. Let me state some rules for the hearing because I know a lot of people are here for it. We're going to open the hearing and we're going to take item number A first. And we'll allow public comments. Public comments, we're going to limit to 3 minutes. I know that there's a short presentation that they asked to do, so we'll allow that. And then we will go on to item number B. We'll hear public comments on that one. Once we close the public comment period, we reconvene the regular meeting, and at that point, the council will give their opinions, their comments before we take any action, and allow, if there's any residual that the city attorney needs to give, we'll do it under the item of business. So, that being said, item number 1, to open a public hearing for comment from the public on the following proposed ordinance. Ordinance A, an ordinance to apportion the districts in accordance with federal and state law. Item B, an ordinance to amend section 1350 loitering to add sleeping on public property. I think I had the motion in a second. Okay, I need a motion and a second to open the hearing. All right, any questions or comments before we open the hearing? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in a public hearing to discuss to take public comments for the following proposed ordinance. We're going to take item A first, an ordinance to reapportion the districts in accordance with federal and state law. Council, on the screen. Where she's at?
She left.
Okay.
What do you need up there?
There should be a map. Go to the next one. Okay, that's the map. And the language ordinance defines the boundaries. This is what went to the ordinance committee meeting previously. and is open to the hearing now. So with that being said, the floor is open for public comment.
And Mayor, would you do the presentation first or no?
We don't have a formal presentation for the hearing. It's just for public comments. Would you like to give your,
I was going to present on the Vermillion NAACP map. Is that?
it's appropriate for you to do that now.
Sounds good.
State your name for the record.
So my name is Ahmed Susi. Is it okay if I hand you guys a PowerPoint deck? It's thank you. It's not decided.
Okay.
And then I actually have the PowerPoint on the, and it's the digital, so I put it on the screen. Is that okay with you there?
You have it, Evan? There you go. Okay. Give him just a second to catch up. Okay, you have the floor.
So okay, raise the clicker.
I don't know if
Yes, right.
Hello again. My name is Ahmed Susi. I have the honor of representing the Vermillion NAACP. As you guys know, I was here a couple of weeks ago, and today I want to talk about redistricting while we're here. Last time I spent my time talking about the proportionality issues with the map that you're considering right now, and how there's an alternative that provides true equal voting power. One of the things I also mentioned, right, because we're in litigation, is that even though our current lawsuit is not about gerrymandering, this new map, you are having the ability to reinforce that same issue. Last time there was a discussion about me using buzzwords. So I wanted to spend my time right now talking about gerrymandering so you understand why this new map is problematic. So I want you guys to have the definitions. So we have cracking, which we could all imagine, right? Diluting the voting power of groups by separating them into districts. So here's an example. I'm a picture person, right? You are separating groups of people within each district so they don't have the ability to make an influence. But there's also another issue, and that's taxes, right? When you say we're going to put everyone into certain districts to only allow them to influence one or a few. And that's what this example is, right? All the purple dots are in one, all the pink dots are in the other. So there's only the ability to influence that one district. This is another hypothetical. Here we have 50 squares, right? And there's 60% blue, 40% orange. If you have to create 5 districts, which first of all, redistricting is tough. It's not easy. And it is, I understand how hard it can be. You see that middle example where they create 5 districts where blue is the majority. Even though blue is technically the majority in the city, I would still say 5 is problematic because it steals the ability to influence for orange voters. But then on the right, the inverse is also a problem where the districts are drawn in a way to dilute blue's representation. So you see 3 orange, 2 blue, and the 2 U's that are created have a majority of the blue districts. Sometimes when we think about gerrymandering, we think about crazy looking districts grabbing everything, but it can also be a perfect square can be gerrymandered if you put everyone in there. So this is a hypothetical, but right here isn't. This is the data of the Abbeville proposed map. This is your guys' information, it's not ours, you see exactly what you're proposing of adopting. I want you guys to take a look at that proposed population percentage for District D. The Black total population is 69.6%. The voting age population, when we talk about gerrymandering, you use the number voting age population, so that's people who are 18 or above, is at 67%. What that tells us is there's a problem. By putting that many Black voters into one district, you are diluting their ability to influence other districts. And the thing about this that is also problematic, we're not, as I said, the deviation is something I spent a lot of time on the last one. So if there are questions, please, I'd love to talk about that. But I just want you guys to understand, it is almost 3/4 of the black population, of the population District D is black, when it doesn't have to be. This is the changes of District D since 2011, the last time the city council redistricted. In 2011, you guys did actually change those boundaries of District D. And then in 2022, you had the opportunity to pass a new map, right? I was there, you guys were here, and you decided to keep the same plan. So District D did not change. You're here because you're looking at another map. The problem with the map that you're proposing right now, District D does not change again, right? The only modifications are up in that A region. District D will remain the same all the way back to 2011. And if we go back, we have those high numbers of black population and BVAP. I want to go to this next thing, right? Why? You all have the opportunity. I know last time when I was here talking about redistricting, there was the comment about the judge is going to decide this. If you read Judge Summerhays' opinions, they will, any redistricting opinion, it talks about how the role of redistricting is on the city. It's the jurisdiction who draws the lines. You have the power. And yes, if you use that power incorrectly, if you don't follow the Constitution, a judge can step in. But that's what the great opportunity that you guys have in front of you right now. You have the capability to adopt a map that is equal. So my question to you guys is, why pass a map that is unproportional? Why pass a map that packs black voters into one district? That's a question that I believe you all have to respond to your constituents on why you want to pass a map when, I don't come empty-handed, as you guys know. We have another alternative, and that's the Vermillion NAACP. Last time I was here, there was another comment about this looks like a different map than what we sent back in 2022. It's a different map because we heard your feedback that you guys wanted something similar. And that's what this map is. It, as I said last time, has the same sort of configuration. Yes, there's some differences, but minor. And there's some differences because it's proportional and it unpacks District D. You saw when we gave you guys the data how there's a 200-person swing in the map that you're considering. And in elections that are not only the one that just occurred, but if you go back, and this is a great thing about the Secretary of State's website, as election results, you'll see elections are super close here in Aggieville. Every vote matters, which is why our map has such low deviations. But the main thing here, it unpacks District D. That black voting age population goes all the way down to 56%. It allows black voters in Aggieville to actually have influence. But not only the black voters, right? Because when we go back to that proportionality of just people, not talking about race, every district is close. It is similar. It has a 1% deviation. And then, as I just explained, minimal changes. It's that same basic configuration. So you still get to keep what you guys said you wanted, but you have an opportunity here to pass a map that is proportional and it unpacks black voters and it tells your constituents that you believe in their voice. That's my presentation. I understand you may have questions later, but I thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to speak here today. And what I just want to stress again is it's your responsibility to draw these districts, right? You can't just say the judge will do it. So you have the opportunity to do that here, and I thank you guys for your time.
Public comments?
Hello, my name is Raven St. Julian, and I would like to basically ask Councilman at Large Campbell to make a motion to move to amend the agenda, item number 3, to be decided at a later date, September date, maybe the September meeting, being that the full council was not provided or overlooked and did not view the NAACP map until basically a week ago. So being that you're the councilman at large, you represent everybody. And this is about Aggieville, not, I know we focus on District D because your map did not change District D. And the reason why a lawsuit came about was because of the District D. But being that it's for all of Abbeville, to make it equal to, for all districts, as close as we can get. You know, I would ask for you to do that if possibly, so you can get a chance to look at it and, you know, understand and possibly do what's right. And not saying what you're doing is wrong, because you are in compliance with the state law. Your
In the
map,
Constitution.
they're in the Constitution, I'll give you that.
Yes.
But to be honest, it only moved 2 streets this way and 2 streets that way. And District D did not change at all. So being that the lawsuit was based around the unequal about District D and Abbeville, let's just do what's right and give ourselves opportunity, and Councilman Edwards, I'm asking you to change that for all of Abbeville, not just District D.
Thank you for your comment. Public comment? Any additional public comments before we move on to the next item?
Alicia Williams. Basically, I agree with everything that was just said. But my concern is District D has been packed. And when you look at the data, you see that it has never been changed. We're looking at one person, one vote, where everyone should matter. And at this point, that doesn't show that because the districts are unequal. District D is packed. And when you look at the NAACP's map and the data, it shows that the districts are equal. So we are here to appeal to your council to do what's right. My question is, why can't we have equal districts? Why can't we have total communication from the community on how we're gonna take and develop our maps so that everybody is equal, everybody is represented. When I talk about being represented, I talk about our youth. If you look at it this summer, our kids didn't have anything to do. There's no swimming pool, there's no recreation
Ms.
facility.
Felicia, this is about redistricting, so let's keep it on redistricting, okay?
So when we talk about redistricting, services comes with it. So all I'm saying is the districts that the city's map shows, it is unequal, unproportioned, and District D is overpopulated.
Okay, public comment.
Hello, Linda Williams Campbell. I just want to thank you all. Please take into consideration everything that has been said and presented, because we really want to be like Ms. Williams said, one person, one vote. Proportionality is important. Every citizen in Abbeville should be important. Everything that we do in Abbeville, city government should think about every citizen. It's very important. And this map, the NAACP map, we feel is gonna make the city better. And we could be that shining light for the parish, maybe for the country, because we want to do the right thing. And not just the right thing for one set of people, but for all, regardless of the background.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Linda. Ms. Marilyn, you have something different than what you said before? Okay.
Okay, hi, I'm Marilyn Mitchell, and I am here because in 2021, I came at the first time to the council was talking about the map 2021. So they said, wait for the new council to come before they decide what they're gonna do. So I've been working with this map since 2021. And I thank God that, you know, we're still doing it, but I'm asking the council since 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, we in 2025. How long does it take to get this map changed? Or how long does it take for the people to be recognized? It's about population. It's not about race. It's about population. We're talking about the population of everybody, not just one person. So I'm just saying, I've been here since 2021 begging and asking the council when it's gonna get done. So I hope today this is resolved and everybody's happy and we can just go to the next level. With all our children, all our people, everybody gonna be happy. So I thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Anybody else? Jordan, do you have anything to,
Well,
Mark,
before George talks,
city attorney?
I'll address the council for some of the points they made. I think the council will remember that this originated with the argument that our districts were unconstitutional because of Carlton Campbell's at-large seat, and that the argument was made that the district's unconstitutional because you can't have an at-large seat. And then once Mr. Campbell won that seat, they moved on to the new argument of the deviation from the one person, one vote. Tonight, I think we heard a different argument from Mr. Susi about packing. If he thought that there was an issue with packing in District D, he could have filed his lawsuit. He could have made a separate claim. He could make multiple claims in one lawsuit. Just appears to me that it's a moving target for them, and they just keep changing their argument. So I would, council could do what they want. We have very experienced lawyers who's giving us advice, and based on the lawsuit that is currently filed, the map that has been worked on by our lawyers as well as our engineers and the mayor satisfies the constitutional and state requirements.
And
Now, does that mean they can't go amend their lawsuit or file another lawsuit claiming another thing? Certainly, they can. But again, if packing was a big issue, I think it would have been made a part of the lawsuit.
I know, Ms. St. Julian, you've already had your time for public comment. It's not a back and forth, okay?
So,
Ms. St. Julian, you do not have the floor.
I can't speak at all.
No, ma'am. Okay? Jordan, do you want to show the difference between the maps they're proposing and the map that we're proposing so everybody can see?
Yes, so I thought it would be a little easier if we, instead of looking
Jordan,
at.
can you state
Yeah.
your name and your role just for the record, please?
Stand out of the way. Jordan Hennigan, and I represent the city in the lawsuit filed by the Vermillion Parish Chapter of the NAACP, which is about the voting districts. So I thought it would be probably easier instead of looking at some smaller maps side by side. If I can do a large, but I tried to simplify overlay of what, all right, of what plaintiff's map versus our map. So
We've seen a ton of maps.
yes, so I wanted to try to make it as simple as possible. Okay, so this overlay, the pink line are the new districts that I'll refer to them as the plans Mr. Susi is proposing. As you will see with this map, it's interesting that he references gerrymandering because I think there's a component of this, there's a few components of this map that I think could be interpreted as gerrymandering, which is this random finger up at the top. Yeah, this is the big district D. That is actually not the subject of this lawsuit, even though it appears that some think it is. This new district that they create takes from all 4 districts, which is really an unnecessary alteration. And in fact, courts have recently, the Supreme Court has recently indicated that they are inclined to support maps, I don't know if they're saying, and support maps that tweak the current districts minimally instead of redrawing entirely new districts, which leads to voter confusion and, the issues that we've talked about before. So despite Mr. Susi saying that there's just a few tweaks here and there. He actually makes an entirely new district, which pulls from all 4 districts. And I'm not sure if you can see, but it cuts off.
Down Martin Luther King
Yes,
Drive,
we
right?
cut off, part of our, community of interest, which would be the Martin Luther King corridor here, which is this red line right here. I know it's hard to see. And puts it into C. So that's another issue that I think that it, doesn't, Planners Map doesn't look at the traditional, redistricting principles, as well as it may say it does. So this is the visual. With regard to packing and cracking, and I've said this before, that's an entirely different cause of action. It's not the cause of action that they sued about. I do not think that there's any validity to that argument. And as Bart said, if there was a viable lawsuit that District D packed and or cracked, that would have been brought in with the initial lawsuit. They didn't file suit on the Voting Rights Act, on violations of the Voting Rights Act. They filed under the 14th Amendment, the one person, one vote principle, which doesn't look at race, it doesn't look at hacking or cracking or any other, it simply looks at number of people, population, not race, not voting age, population, it looks at none of that. It's illogically simple, really. I think that's all. I can leave this if y'all want.
What would be the bottom line number of people that are going to be moved in the voting precincts? The amount of people that are gonna be moved by this new vote.
People, not voters,
No,
right?
Well,
Really, but,
well, I guess I should say voters.
yeah, that's not a figure that we look at for redistricting.
Well, not under the one person, one vote. It's people, right? It's babies, it's
Right.
6-year-olds, it doesn't matter whether they can vote. The table shows you, let's see, you should have the,
Yeah, go back to the table, well, I think it was in.
well, I was talking about the city's proposed map or this. Planners proposed map is, they should have a table for their,
But what's the difference between the city proposal and the NAACP proposal? Yes.
let's see. I'll have to add it up for you.
I don't see it right here.
Well, that's just the cities.
The option D is the cities. Let me see if I can find.
The other one is not there. I saw it earlier, we had it.
Yeah, it was with the, maybe with the ordinance committee meeting package.
It's in this slide.
I think that's our option D.
So what's your question, Councilman? What's your question?
See, that's the difference between how much we're.
Total.
How much we lose and how much they are.
That's a breakdown here.
Have it stated?
Yeah, it was,
What they're looking at.
And let me clarify that the court looks at what's called maximum deviation percentage. To determine whether, there's a threshold. So they say anything under 10% maximum deviation, percentage between the districts is presumed constitutional, which means that the legal burden shifts to the plaintiff to show why the city's proposed map would be unconstitutional. So in this case, with the city's new map, we're well under that threshold. So should Judge Summerhays look at this map and say, okay, I think, the city council did a good job, he would then look at plaintiffs and say, explain to me why it's unconstitutional. And that's how the legal argument would go from there. That would be the next process. But the court does use the maximum deviation percentage when looking at this table of a lot of numbers.
I have a question. You said the court would look at the maximum deviation before it makes a ruling?
Yes, sir, he would, Judge Summerhays, so to whatever map we put in front of Judge Summerhays, I would also include the table, with all of the numbers, so that he can see everything and say, okay, this is what's moving, this is the population that's currently in this district, we're moving this many people out of this district to this district, so that he has all of this information in front of him when he's reviewing, the city's proposed map.
Okay, well, he would have to see the current map population, which is 19.3. Then he would have to look at the Abbeville map population, which the deviation is 6.3. And also the recommended map population, which is 1.1% overall. He's got to take all that into consideration before he makes a ruling.
He does take it all into consideration, but that's not all he takes into consideration. He also looks at other redistricting principles, that are considered when drawing a map. So when Todd and Janice and I work together to kind of come up with, some additional options, we looked at, those traditional principles, including, and I know y'all have heard these terms, compactness of the districts, whether the districts are contiguous, whether they, split communities of interest, which is an engineering term, and I guess a legal term now. And those
legal term?
communities of interest.
Oh, okay.
So neighborhoods, historical neighborhoods or historical preservations, that it wouldn't be to split those kind of neighborhoods. Usually there's zoning issues, specific zoning to preservation neighborhoods, and if you split it, that cause issues, for the residents, those type of things.
Yeah, well, that's a question I had for the attorney for the NAACP, but does he get a chance to talk again?
I'm gonna let our attorney rule on that.
I would suggest if the council member has a question for him, he'd be allowed to ask.
I just had a
No,
question
trying to
about,
hold their questions after they hear it, that's good, go ahead.
I had a question about cracking. Where black communities are split into different districts. Is that tantamount to gerrymandering?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Both cracking and packing can be gerrymandered.
Which is not legal.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
it just looks to me like we haven't all these discussions on and on, but it just looks to me like all we talking about is equality.
Yes.
That's the way I'm seeing it. It'd be an equal ratio to how voters are voting. I don't know where that, to me, that's kind of what I'm looking at. You're not attacking, you're not gerrymandering, you're not doing any of those things. All you're doing is redoing the districts just a little bit. I don't see a major issue when I'm looking at it. And it just looks like equal voting. To me. You right?
Which one are you looking at?
Right, which,
Yeah, NAACP. I mean, I'm asking you, what do you think? That's the way it looks to me like, just trying to make it fair.
right, I think the main issue with the NAACP map is that it ignores other considerations that go into redistricting.
Like what?
Like, it splits communities of interest, it splits along the MLK corridor. I think it unnecessarily takes from, all of the districts and puts into another district. I think it's trying to backdoor, I said a majority minority, but I think in an SPLC article, they admitted that it's really trying to create a, black opportunity district. The Supreme Court has indicated that any form of race-driven apportionment is illegal. So the fact that they admitted that they're trying to make some sort of a race-based decision when redrawing these lines, I think is problematic. And I think the city's map avoids those issues. I think we minimally move what we need to move to come under the maximum deviation percentage without disturbing, our communities of interest, and certainly doesn't, relocate all of the parts that don't need to.
I think, and I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but I did quickly the math, that question you asked. I think the NAACP map moves about 678 total voters around in different districts. And the city map moves about 596 around. So less people disturbed from their districts is, that's the numbers that I did based on the chart. I don't know if it's 100% accurate because I'm trying to do it on this calculator. Okay, I saw Mr. Williams with his hand up, so I'd like to give him an opportunity to speak.
My name is Kevin Williams. I rise because my concern, I don't rise to represent our church, St. Mary Congregational Church, proud of the church family. I don't rise to represent the NAACP with all due respect to that. I don't rise to represent the special interest group. Sitting here thinking to myself, I'm a council person. What my main concern? My main concern would not be necessarily how many blacks are in this district or how many whites are in this district. I really wouldn't be looking at the map and saying to myself, what's the minimum we can get away with? I'd be thinking to myself, Abbeville starts with A. A is the first letter of the alphabet. It is the highest level of grade that you can get. We shouldn't represent minimum. We should represent maximum. Not the least that we can get away with. But what's best for our community as a whole? We have to get away from all of this. Let's do it easy. And if I was a council member and I didn't understand the nitty-gritties, the ins and outs, the numbers, I'm not ready to vote. I'm not ready to speak. Because I want to make sure that when I do vote, when I do open up my mouth and say yay or nay, I'm well informed and I'm able to defend what it is that I voted for. And if you as a council person, you don't feel like you're there yet, speak it. But whatever you do, not minimum, do the maximum. Not for one side, but for Abbeville. It's Abbeville. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other public comments before we move on to the next item in the hearing? None right now? Okay. Moving on, we will hear comments on an ordinance to amend section 1350 loitering to add sleeping on public property.
So that should be okay.
Councilman Broussard or
Councilman Broussard requested, this is, we have a loitering article, we just added a provision within it to, prohibit sleeping on public property. There's a lot of homelessness and people sleeping in the park.
Chief, can you help speak on this, please? The calls that you've had for that?
We have several people that sleep in the square. The rest of them sleep on public property or sleeping all over town. But I just don't know if this ordinance right here is gonna be exactly what you want. You know, if somebody is taking a break during lunch and we catch them sleeping, we're not gonna write tickets for sleeping in a bench as long as you're upright. I guess if you're occupying the whole bench and nobody else can sleep on it or sit on it, that may be a problem, but, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at this and I haven't studied it, so I really don't know what happened.
Do we have an increase in the homeless, chief?
We have approximately, as far as we can tell, from the different number counts we've done and people that we picked up homeless, around 20 in Abbeville. And some of them aren't seen because you see them in the woods over here behind the park. But roughly 20. And there's 2 or 3 that we see in the square. And we have to abandon the square during the hours that the square is closed. But some of them, that's the only place they take a bath. in the foul.
And you see,
When you-
when the, I'm sorry, when the square is closed, when is the square closed?
The city ordinance closes it with all the park, it's considered a city park.
Yeah, I understand that, but there's no gates that are locked, I mean,
Yeah, but there's signs.
yeah, but there's something that says no longer, but does that work?
Enforced.
And when you say the park, I'm sure that's the John Hardy Park, right?
No, we're talking about all the parks in town.
Yeah, but you said in the
Oh,
woods.
yes, where the woods are, yes, it is.
That's why I mentioned it, meaning that maybe we could consider at some point, we'll budget in as a homeless shelter, I don't know. We have no homeless shelter, Gene, and this thing about, where do we want them to sleep? I mean, I agree we need to enforce that, but where are they gonna sleep? Where are they gonna, I mean,
Councilman, we have,
Well, I need
an
to
item on the
I'll
agenda,
give you the side we got right now.
the homeless,
Yeah, there's another item on the agenda.
to address
Start
homelessness
addressing
and stuff.
homelessness. So if y'all not ready to vote on this one, right now we're just here in a hearing anyway. You can move to table it when we get to action, okay?
But there's nothing in place right now. This amendment would give the police department the authority to do something if need be.
But you also have to not violate their civil rights.
right. They have to sleep.
Okay, any other public comments on this item before we close the hearing and go to action items? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing and reconvene the regular meeting. Motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. We have now reconvened the regular city council meeting for the Abbeville City Council. And we are going to take, just give me 1 second. The first item of business is item number 3, to adopt an ordinance to reapportion the districts in accordance with federal and state law. We heard the public comments during public hearing. Council, do you have any additional comments or questions at this time?
Which map is gonna be presented to the council?
Right now, the map on the agenda is the map that the city drew, which was the one presented without the clear stuff on top. The one that's proposed in the ordinance committee. That's what's currently on this item of business.
And if an amendment to that number 3 to present the NAACP map, if I move to amend that to present that map.
We don't have a motion yet, so we don't need a motion to amend. You would just need to make a motion to, how would this go?
We would have to make a motion to amend the agenda to include, both maps on the agenda. And then somebody can motion to vote for either one.
And require a second.
Second.
You didn't make a
You're
motion,
making
just
the
question
motion,
it.
second.
No, I asked for.
That's a procedural question. So that is how you would have to handle it. You would say, I move to amend the agenda to, propose, to also present the NAACP map for consideration.
That's the motion.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion and a second. We're first voting on the amended motion. Any public comments on the motion to amend? Hearing none, all in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, actually, it's gonna have to be a roll call because it has to be unanimous. Okay?
Yes.
Councilwoman Broussard? Councilman Broussard?
Yes.
Councilman Plaisance?
Yes.
Councilman Hardy?
Yes.
Okay, we have a unanimous vote to amend the agenda. Just 1 second.
Just so we're clear, Mayor.
Yeah.
The agenda now reflects that, agenda item is to adopt an ordinance to reapportion the districts in accordance with federal and state law. And there are 2 maps, that can be voted on.
Okay,
One is the map proposed by the work of the city with its engineers and attorneys, and one is the map being proposed by the NAACP as presented by Mr. Susi this evening.
okay. Everybody clear on that language? I don't need to repeat it, right? All right. Okay, we will now open a public comment. If you have an additional comment, not what you already stated, that you can give specifically about the agenda item, we'll take those comments now before we take action. Any public comment before we take action? Okay, I'm gonna say something because I did prepare a little something and I hope this gives some guidance to you guys. Thank you everybody for being here today. I don't normally speak from the heart, but since we're in the middle of a lawsuit, we all know that my mouth sometimes gets me in trouble, so I wrote down my thoughts ahead of time to try not to go off script too much. Mr. Susie, I know you come from a big town, big firm, you have a whole litigation team, and it's very impressive. And I bet it's not inexpensive. It's very fortunate that your clients don't have to pay for your representation. We appreciate the work that you're doing. You stated that the map you created, the NAACP maps, are better than the city maps. In fact, you stated that they're nearly perfect, meaning 0 deviation. But you don't live in Abbeville, right? And I doubt you ever stepped foot in Abbeville before 2022. I'm deeply impressed with your availability for this community and for your impeccable timing. But I've listened to you since 2022. And I've listened to you propose multiple maps and cite statistics and varying concerns and demands over the last couple of years. You are very articulate, and I'm sure you're quite a skilled litigator. We greatly appreciate the work that SPLC does. It's generous, and we consider your deep concern for our community. We have listened and considered everything you have said. Now I'm going to take a minute to talk to the community that elected me to lead this city. The community that I live and work in every day. I am not an attorney, and I am far from a legal expert. This discussion may seem technical on the surface, numbers and deviation percentages, but in truth, what we are discussing strikes at the very heart of democracy. How we draw the lines that define our voting districts and who we trust to draw those lines fairly. Redistricting is not just a legal exercise. It's a moral one. It's about who gets to be heard, and it's about who gets a seat at the table. In 2022, the voters of Abbeville elected the most diverse and equitable group of leaders that have ever served this city. I proudly serve up here alongside them as your mayor. I do not get to vote tonight, but personally, I believe the group of people sitting up here at this table are proof that democracy and our voting districts work. I believe that in 2022, and I still believe it now. This council is capable of doing the job they were elected to do. Our community is more than numbers on a map. Cities are continuously evolving. People move every day. The numbers today are different than they were in 2022. They're different than they were last month. And next month, they're going to be different than they are today. There is no perfect map. If this council wants to get closer to 0 than we've already proposed, then I suggest you do that. But I suggest you use our maps and make some more adjustments to the lines to get closer to 0. That's why what I stated is why I believe that the district lines should be drawn by us, by our own elected municipal legislature, not by some outside firm with no real stake in our community. Our council are the ones who know our neighborhoods. They understand the history behind each street and the people who live in it. They know which communities are growing and which ones need better representation, and how to keep our city united instead of divided. When local leaders draw the lines, it's not about power. It's about proximity. We are accountable to the people in our district every single day. We walk the same sidewalks, we attend the same churches, and we hear the same concerns. That connection matters. Big law firms may have experiences and resources, but they don't have relationships. They may bring a process, but they don't bring perspective. The kind of perspective that only those who live here can truly offer. So this process is and always will be transparent, fair, and most importantly, local. I ask you to trust the people that you elected, not someone you never met, to shape how our community is represented. Because we draw our own lines, we don't just shape maps, we shape our own future. So council, that's what I wanted to say to you before you take a vote. We have 2 maps proposed. I agree that we should get as close to 0. I also agree that our numbers today are not what they were in 2022, but we have to do it based on the numbers of 2022. You have a very hard decision in front of you, and I support you in whatever decision you make. Yes,
Can I
ma'am.
say something?
You can say something.
Because I sit here and I listen to your speech.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Felicia.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that certain people, you know which people that, needs better representation.
I didn't say me, I said we.
We, okay, but
Yes,
let's
ma'am.
talk about you.
Okay.
I went to you personally because I facilitate a tax service.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked to use that facility on Veteran Memorial.
This is not before
No,
that.
no, you don't get to speak about something that's not on the agenda. You can speak about your feelings of unfair representation.
Unfair
without-
representation,
not on the
because
agenda.
when you said that, you know which people needs better representation. I thought all of us need better representation. That's what we're supposed to be doing, and that's what the
Miss
council's supposed to
Felicia.
be doing, representing everybody.
Miss Felicia, it's not gonna be a back and forth, but I'm gonna ask this question. Which district do you vote in?
Let me.
No, I would like for you to answer the question, Miss Felicia.
Before I get upset, I'm gonna walk out of here because what you saying is a lie.
Okay.
And I know you said a lie. And I am a volunteer and I do a lot of volunteering in this community. From the cleanup, that the city does to a lot of other things. But how can you sit up there and say that you are for the people and you're not? And you said you're running on an open door policy and your door is closed and it's open to select people. So I'm gonna walk out of here because I cannot sit in here and be disrespected by you and nobody else.
Okay. Have a good night. Anyone else?
Okay, Linda Williams,
Yes, Miss
Council.
Linda.
Okay, when you refer to the NAAC attorney from not being in Abbeville, Louisiana, from Abbeville, Ms. Jordan is not from Abbeville neither. We, the
But the
NAACP,
people who drew our maps are from that.
we the people, NAACP, asked them to come represent us. We the people. And when you said that, I think it was very disrespectful. Very disrespectful to the Dominion Parish NAACP because we are the ones that asked the Southern Property Law Center to come and represent us.
Thank you, Ms. Linda. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Let's see how we're gonna do this. I think we need to take a vote on first the city maps, because they were first on the, agenda. Or advise me if this is correct.
Well, the agenda item is to adopt an ordinance to amend. So we would need a motion from a council member. There's 2 maps. Now the agenda includes 2 maps. So any council member can, if they feel they can motion to adopt one of the maps.
Yeah.
Or they can
They can do nothing.
they can table, right? They could. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
And I'm using this as an example. Let's say I'm gonna go with the city, but we go back and we get it as close as we can get on our own.
Yes, sir.
That's,
That's an option. We can make that motion.
all right.
You can make a motion to take the city maps and adjust it further and bring it back for reconsideration. Is that how you would do it for?
We do have to do this before.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just bringing up the deadlines.
Can we make a
4
motion?
weeks.
Which
time
map
to-
to accept?
Well, I just wanted to put on the record that we do have a state deadline. I have no issue with what you're saying to go back and, you know, if that's what y'all wanna do. I just wanted everybody to be aware that we do, have to send the Secretary of State the city's, approved, voted on map by December 17th, before the next election. So there is somewhat of a
This would
deadline.
be the next council meeting though, Todd, you should be able to get that by the next council meeting, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so do you wanna make that motion, Councilman? Do I hear a second?
A second.
Okay, so if I'm correct, correct me if I'm wrong, the motion and the second is to take the city map, to table the decision for right now, bring the city map back with additional adjustments to get closer to zero. Is that correct?
I'll offer an amended motion.
Okay.
Let's do that, right?
Yes.
Whatever motion you want.
My amended motion is to accept the NAACP map as presented over the several weeks that we've been dealing with this and put it to rest.
Okay, do I hear a second for Mr. Councilman Plaisance' motion to amend? Then that motion to amend fails from lack of support. Is that correct? Yes. And so we back on the table is the first motion, which is the motion to use the city maps, readjust and bring it back for consideration. And I have a second. Okay? Yes.
We would like to use the Abbeville city map, as Mr. Hardy said, and make some adjustments so that we can get as close to 1.1 as possible. Because there will be appeals no matter what we do. This is not the end of the discussion. Nobody's gonna be satisfied when we leave here tonight. So courts is gonna have to decide how we're gonna operate this city as far as voters are concerned.
Okay.
I did some research and it was hard for me to find someone who was not able to qualify and run for an office in any district here in Abbeville. The question that I found, or the thing that I found, was the lack of voters.
Yeah, the maps are not the problem, the voter turnout is the problem. I mean, we had 32% in 2022, and we had, 12% in the last election.
And we'll get a chance again to vote on the deviation in the future.
Yeah, we'll have to bring a map back to adopt. Okay,
I call a question.
question's been called. We're gonna take a roll call vote, just because it's been a little confusing. We're gonna start in District A, work our way back, District A. Councilman Hardy, your motion. You wanna vote in favor of your motion?
Yes.
Councilman Plaisance.
No.
Okay, Councilman Broussard. Councilwoman Broussard.
Yes.
Councilman Campbell. Okay, so I have 4 yeses, 1 nay, motion carries. Right. I did not say during the housekeeping, but anybody who wants to leave may do so after the agenda item that we considered is taken care of. Just do so quietly and as least disruptive as possible. Okay, moving on, I'm gonna ask y'all to keep it down or I'm gonna start escorting people out. Item number 4, to adopt an ordinance to amend section 1350 loitering to include sleeping on public property. Okay, a motion and a second. Any questions or, well, okay. Hold on, we didn't make a motion, it didn't pass the hearing, huh?
No, it has to be.
It's not,
Yeah. So we want to make the motions if you want to go ahead and adopt the ordinance? Okay, in a second. Any questions or comments?
On, let's see,
Item number 4, loitering and to include sleeping on public property. That's the item where,
I had questions about that, and I was gonna ask our city attorney to tell us more about that ordinance that we're about to adopt. Does it need to be tweaked or worked on, or what?
I mean, until we get cases under and people challenge it or make arguments, I think it's fine the way it is. It does what Councilman Brady Broussard asked for it to do. It gives the police the authority to, I mean, they gotta use their judgment like in all cases.
Yeah.
If a guy, I mean, he's gotta, they gotta know what it's for, people overnight. I think if you, have reviewed the homeless program that the mayor's, trying to bring up, well, we would have a way to deal with them and
We'll have a program.
to help them. I mean, we're not just, picking them up, putting them in jail, but it gives us a tool to get them off the.
Yeah, Councilman Broussard's statement that just is not a solution. We just don't want to go overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that comes to enforcement and officers using better judgment, you know? I mean, they know the ones that the ordinance is enacted to enforce against.
Persistent, those with a record, those who are on drugs, and the chief uses good judgment with his officers.
Yeah, and the chief is not out there all the time, so you need to always make those officers aware they have good judgment.
I agree with that.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Any questions from the audience on this? I don't think we stopped long enough to ask. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, board. Thank you, council.
Item number 5, to approve a special event permit for TNT Sickle Cell Riders to hold a trail ride at the Red Barn on Sunday, September 21st, 2025, from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. The special event permit is needed to access city streets. This is a recurring event. Okay. Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Anybody here? Anybody here from that organization? Hi, how are you?
How are you? I saw him when he moved in, I recognized him.
This is his 3rd year, right? 3rd year you have it?
I saw you when you moved in. Okay.
And you lined up yes for it?
I didn't hear it. What did you say? Oh, okay.
And successful. Hope you turn out, you know, we get phone calls and stuff. Like everybody excited for it. But one of our artists won't be able to perform, he got in a bad car accident.
Oh, okay.
He Broussard.
Mike Broussard.
Mike Broussard. He's beat up real bad.
Yeah. Head on collision. So,
Oh, my.
He lost all his equipment too.
I don't think so.
Well, the news media said so.
Let me ask you this.
He had surgery today, he lost his power to see.
Sorry to hear.
Trying to figure out how we could do this, you know, because we had him on the side, so trying to see what we can do.
Okay, taking care of everything.
Yeah, well, all they need from us is a special event permit, but when they get onto the road, they're only on the road for a short period. And I think usually the marshal's office escorts you, so chief, you're aware of everything. Chris, I don't think Chris gets involved with this one too much.
Oh.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
All right.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, to approve a special event permit for Peanuts Snowy Treats to hold a car show on Donald Frederick Boulevard between East St. Victor and Prairie Avenue on September 27th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Motion and a second. Is anyone here from?
I'm looking for Treyon's wife. Is she here? No.
Okay.
Jayon.
I'm looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a great event. I know the application is in. We'll make sure that all the insurance and everything is there and in place, that anything they need. But council, I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Chris, go through.
We set up that meeting.
Yes, we had a meeting. I know that there were some hiccups with an event this weekend. What I did is told Sarah and the permit department, anytime we have a special event, they're gonna add to the application that they have to meet with Public Works, or one of our designees prior to, we already have that they have to meet with the chief, but we have been in practice meeting with organizations as they host special events. That did not happen. Sarah talked to the event host last weekend multiple times, but they never met with the Public Works Director. So now all events have to meet with Public Works. It can be after y'all take action to make sure that anything they need, roads closed, bathrooms, things like that, is handled ahead of time so that we're not scrambling at the last minute, especially events. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, to approve the 2024 accounting of the 2024 tax roll.
Second.
I have a motion. I said they changed my contact, so I'm having trouble reading. They're adjusting still. So, all right, council. So this is items of regular business. For those of you, I like to always point this out in case people say, "Where does all my tax dollars go?" We collect $447,064 in ad valorem taxes in the city limits of Abbeville. It costs about $700,000 a mile, I guess, to mill and overlay a road, Todd, about approximately. So we don't collect enough tax and property tax to do one road anywhere in the city. So we do collect sales tax. I'm not, and we thankfully have the electric system so we can supplement. But I like to point out that we have very low property tax here in the city of Abbeville. So that being said, any questions or comments before we take action? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, to appoint 2 names from the recommendation letter of ULL President E. Joseph Savoy to the Abbeville Fire and Police Civil Service Board. The 4 names he submitted are Gibson Bessard Sr., Kamaya Hill, David Ashley, and Ferris Montgomery.
Hello,
Okay, so council, I need a motion and a second on 2 names.
Gibson Bensor, I propose Gibson Bensor and Kimla Hill.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to appoint Gibson Bessard and Kamaya Hill. And a second, I already have that.
David Ashley and Gibson Bissell.
Okay. Okay, so now we have 3 names. Do I have a second for adding Mr. David Ashley's name? Okay. Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Okay. I'm gonna take a, gosh, Bart, and he's not in here. Y'all gotta make it complicated for me tonight, huh?
This last meeting?
This last meeting.
Okay, so let's do that. She's right. Kathy's got a good point. We have a motion and a second, and then we have, I'm gonna call it a substitute motion to add Mr. David Ashley with a second. So we're gonna vote on the substitute motion to add David Ashley to the list of the 3 names.
I move.
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adding David Ashley as one of the 3 names?
You would,
Yeah.
he's David and Gibson.
Oh, okay.
I gave you 2 names.
I'm sorry, call me off this.
So
Okay.
that's,
I gave you 2 names.
so is David.
Okay. So he's proposing that the 2 names that we vote on tonight are David and Mr. Bessor. We're gonna take a vote on that. That's the amended motion. If that one fails, then we would vote on the other 2 names. Okay, we're gonna do roll call, just so it's clear. All right, so we're voting on the names David Ashley and Gibson Bessard Sr. to be appointed to the Fire and Police Civil Service. I'm gonna do roll call, starting on A.
Yes.
B.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman? No, okay, and Councilman?
Yes.
Okay, so we have 4 yeas, 1 nay, and so we will be appointing David Ashley and Gibson Bessard Sr. to Fire and Police Civil Service.
I just forgot about Kim.
No. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that one. Okay, we never know what's gonna happen up here. Okay, moving on. So then you're not gonna vote on the second, on Ms. Kimya because the substitute motion passed. All right, item number 9, to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Boys and Girls Club of Acadiana. Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Any, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, to authorize the city attorney to proceed with filing suit to recover damages to a city-owned vehicle as a result of an accident on April 17, 2025. Any questions or comments? This was one of our city vehicles that was hit, and we're having trouble hearing back from the insurance on this one. So board is proposing to file suit. No questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, discussion and possible action to adopt Hope to Home Initiative, a project to help homeless in the city of Abbeville. Okay, a motion and a second. Council, this is based on, it's against the law to donate public funds. But there are some instances under Title 7 that allow for the use for certain situations, right? Certain things like this, for instance. We've had in freezes where we opened a warming shelter. Thankfully, the second time we had a pastor who opened a warming shelter, so the city didn't have to man it. That was great. We had the recent incident at, Budget Inn where we had 2 homeless people, going back to the conversation about where will people sleep. 2 people who were discovered within the building who had broken into the building. And, you know, but they had a place to go. They wanted to go back to where they were from. And so instead of putting them in jail, we bought them a ticket and let them collect their things and send them back home to where they came from. And so this initiative is a challenge board to help me write something that we could put in place. It'll be limited funds in the general fund, very restricted use. But in the case of the instances where we have homeless people who we need to get them to services, if they want to voluntarily go to a shelter, if they want to go for treatment, if they have a place to go to and need transport services, or we need to put them on a bus to get back to their home. As we encounter these people, we will have a mechanism to help them get there. And so this is something that I think is important to start addressing the issue in a compassionate way. And so that is what this agenda item is. I don't have a proposal for an amount on this budget line item. I'll bring it up to y'all when we amend it. The first expense was just under $500 for 2 people plus their bags to get back to home.
I move to adopt this as part of a solution for a society problem.
Very good motion, second. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, discussion and possible action to purchase 1 MyoVision Scout Plus at a cost of $8,938 for traffic and speed data collection. Motion and second, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, discussion and possible action to transition to Latham's Plate Clock timekeeping software at a cost of, it's actually $12,176 because the other amount includes taxes. This is a time, so we're we're transitioning the whole accounting system, right? Because we have the whole obsolete system. We currently use manual stamped time cards. This is a digital time clock where people will be able to clock in at stations. There's all the integrations of different things. They'll have stations at their departments. There's a way that they can clock in if they're, I know the chief's back there wanting to say something. I'm gonna let him speak briefly, but this pay clock will integrate with the new accounting software. So all of our timekeeping will be done digitally instead of manually. Go ahead, Chief.
I have no problem with the city going to it, but I don't think it's gonna work for the police department.
We will figure out a way to make it work because all departments, our goal is to take out all of the duplicated manual entry between multiple departments. So whatever I gotta do to make it work for fire and police, we're gonna figure it out before we sign the contract. But everybody will be on one system when we're done with this. What, Chief?
That's a $12,000 budget item right there that we need to talk about before, or come up with a way to do it.
It's not coming out of your expense.
It's not coming out my.
No, sir. That's an administrative expense. Yeah, it's not gonna be a cost to you, this is the cost of the administrative budget, it's gonna save us 3 times that in personnel costs. So. No, it will not, But it will speed up, it will certainly help her out in her job, certainly. Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none? I didn't get a motion on that one. Do I have a motion on that one? Do I have a second? Okay, motion and second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, to approve payment of invoice from MMR in the amount of $8,181.52 for repairs to North Bailey Lift Station. This one caught fire.
Yes.
Okay. Motion and second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. If you want to know why the sewer budget's over, it's because it's a nightmare in our sewer department.
Where the money goes.
Yep. Number 15, to approve the invoice for Broadpoint Solutions in the amount of $8,591.49 for semi-annual service of 9 city generators. This is something we do every year ahead of hurricane season. We have all the generators that are in the city for all our critical infrastructure tested, and they work out any kinks so that in the case of the word we will not mention in this meeting, we know that they're operational as part of our hurricane preparedness plan. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 16, to approve payment of the invoice from F&R Air Conditioning Incorporated in the amount of $9,600 to replace Unit A HVAC system at City Hall.
Second.
Okay, motion and a question, motion and a second. It's actually already been done, right? So it's a ratification. It's actually a ratification. It's been on the brink for the last year. Kathy's been tugging it along, and it finally crapped out last week.
I can tell the difference.
I know, I was cold too earlier.
Oh.
Okay, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. City Hall team appreciates that, guys. Item number 17, to approve payment of partial payment number 3 payable to Ernest P. Bro LLC relative to the runway lighting upgrade project. This is at the airport. Motion and a second. Todd, do you have any comments?
This is a progress payment to EP Bro. They're basically just about complete with the project. The total payment amount is $249,176.26.
Thank you. They almost done, you said, or they are done?
They're just about done. We should accept the project at your next meeting.
And how many down days of business did we have?
It was minimized very much.
Can't tell you how many calls they got whenever they announced they were.
That's government funding, right?
Yeah, that's gonna, yeah, that's from the FAA and DOT, I think.
We have a slight local contribution, but it's
And that money comes from the airport funds. This airport revenue generated, spend it out at the airport.
Yeah,
As been by FAA.
Let them keep
Okay.
it.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 18, to approve the quote from Stalker Radar in the amount of $8,535 to purchase 3 R-Series LiDAR. Chief Mike. Morning, I'm sorry.
Mayor and council, y'all know the work that, Officer Doc Gaspar did working for us. Well, we have more officers that want to do radar work and LiDAR work and write tickets for speeders. And, on the conference, you got a good price on some LiDAR radars. $8,500 for 3 of them, so it's gonna pay for itself in probably 2 months.
Are these gonna be the ones that can send the tickets straight to City Hall, to City?
No, these are the ones where if there's 5 cars getting down the road,
But they're very expensive.
Yeah, but
oh yeah, but these right here, if somebody's coming down the road, there's 5 cars and 1 speeding.
yeah.
If he puts that radar, that laser on it, that's the car that's speeding, he knows which car it is.
Yeah, and he can read going and come,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I don't want it, cause I don't have to stop here.
There's no fun for guys.
So is the money in your budget for this?
Yes.
You have it in?
Yes,
in your
I
budget? Motion?
Sure.
Second?
That LiDAR,
Did I
is
get
that a
it?
brand name?
No, it's Stalker, but it's LiDAR is a different kind of radar.
So if I'm in the middle and it's 2 guys in the front of me, he won't be able to tell it's me, or he'll be
You'll
able
be able to tell exactly which car to speed.
He gave me a ticket.
When you get the photos, could you put one on the Cherry Street, please?
Sure. I'll introduce you. If, with this new system that this other guy's talking to us about, we can find out what streets they're speeding and what times of the day they're speeding also. So that's something else we're looking
And
at.
also the turn lane, also the turn lane is not a passing lane. You let them know that, please.
Yes.
Okay, any questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 19, to approve the quote from Abbeville Auto Paint and Body in the amount of $6,633.82 to repair police unit 595 that was involved in an accident. Chief Mike Gordon.
Okay, guys, what happened here is, vehicle was involved in an accident. It was a minor accident, but still did fairly serious damage to a police car. It didn't damage the vehicle it hit very much. We did get quotes. Allen's Paint and Body quoted $9,678. Race Complete quoted $84.91. Abbeville Auto Paint and Body did it for $66.33, which is the lowest one by far. And I recommend that we go with Abbeville Auto Paint and Body.
I move.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 20, discussion and possible action to purchase the property located at 107 South Louisiana behind the police station, G40.
Okay, as you know, the Premier Credit Union is right behind the Abbeville Police Department. Next best place to have a facility that we can add more room to the police station. We need room for evidence. We need room for training. We need room for showers. If we have a hurricane, our guys will stay in their same clothes for a week if they have to. That's not nice, it's not healthy. And what we do need is the training place, and I need a room for evidence. What we have right now is packed chock-a-block to the top. If we don't get our evidence in a good spot, we're gonna start losing some court cases because our evidence is contaminated.
You have money in the budget for that, in your budget?
No.
Not right now, but next year we will.
Have you gotten it appraised yet, Chief?
I did talk to the lady, she said make an offer. They're ready to bid, are ready to sell, because their building's gonna be complete in 8 weeks.
Okay.
Okay, you're talking to the person?
Yes, the person that runs the credit union.
Yeah, let's get it first.
I told her you and I would get together and go make a bid if this went through tonight, or we could look at it. We're not making any decisions yet,
Let me know.
but yes,